Hi, this is Dorothy Guinan with Scrapbooking Quebec, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a 6-photo layout with PIZZAZZ. I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions, and I'm going to include all the measurements. Now, most of the material I'm using comes from my stash. It's a hip kit from September 2017, as well as a bundle from the Stampin' Up! Current catalog, the 2018-2019 catalog. Those are the decorations I made with it. I pre-cut my photos in advance and I added photo mats. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how I will be dividing these photos on the page. And now I'm going to cut a border that will be placed at the bottom of the page. This border measures 4.5 inches wide. But from here on in, I am going to write the measurements on the screen. I will write the photo measurements as well as the page part measurements. Now, this pale pink paper is going to house the 2 horizontal narrow photos. And in the third block, there will be 1 photo, and that will be my focal point. Now, you're going to notice that in each one of those blocks, or in 2 of the blocks, the photos are all of identical size. And that's done on purpose. Because there are so many photos, that makes it so much easier on the eye. Now, right now, I added a narrow strip of gray cardstock to the border at the bottom of the page, and I'm going to glue everything to a white piece of paper. Now, you can glue it to whatever paper you want, and honestly, I would recommend you find a piece of paper that you're not going to use because you're not going to see one bit of it. In fact, I find this a great project to stash bust. Although the printed paper is important, it does add a certain feel to the project, most of it will be covered up by photos. There are going to be 6 photos on this project, and 6 real photos, not little tiny 2x2 photos. So my divisions now are made to house my photos, and the first thing I'm going to do is glue these 3 photos, all of identical size, to the bottom of the page. This will form a border. These photos with photo mats measure 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Now, in the top left-hand block, I'm going to add a narrow gray photo mat to these 2 photos. Now, this photo mat is going to be very small. It's going to measure only 1/4 inch larger than the photo grouping. The photo on the right will be my focal point photo, and for this I'm going to make a larger photo mat. I want this photo to stand out more than all the other photos. That is why it's alone, and it's really going to be the only place where I'm going to decorate. There isn't a lot of room to decorate on this page because there are so many photos, but I still want to do some decorations just to make it different than your standard photo album. Now, before I move on, I'm going to add some faux stitching in between these 2 pieces of pink paper. I have already done it to the bottom border of the page. And to do that, I used a template by Stampin' Up!, a paper piercing tool, and now I'm joining the holes with a black pen. All this does is reinforce the divisions on the page. Honestly, they were already there. It's not necessary, but it is a little extra something you can do if you like. You can obviously do it with a sewing machine, you can hand stitch, or you can just draw a line by hand. And so what I'm doing now is I'm working on my focal point photo. And before gluing it to the foundation page in the dark pink block, I'm going to add some decorations and some layers. Really, I want to build up this photo. What I'm doing here is making a tag with a tag punch, and you will see I'm going to make a ring around the whole of this tag with a hole punch and a circle punch. I do this, honestly, I do it in practically every video I make. And this tag is going to be purely decorative. On the coordinating page, I have a few tags that look like this, but they're larger, and that is where the journaling will go. Also on the coordinating page, I put these little pink suede bows that they're there on the tags on the coordinating page, so I did the same thing on this page. And this is just a file tab I made in the mint green to repeat the mint green that's in the decoration at the top of the photo, and I'm placing that along the right hand side of the photo. And the last thing I'm going to do here is just add a bit of baker's twine towards the bottom of the photo. Again, this is kind of built up, but there's really no other room for it on the page. So I'm happy with this, and I'm going to glue it to the foundation page, to its spot, the hot pink spot in the corner. And now I am going to work on the left-hand block, and that is where I'm going to place a title. Now this is the second part of a two-part title. The first part is on the coordinating page. It says Tea Time, and on this page, With Friends. So the title is Tea Time with Friends. And I decide to put the title underneath the photo grouping as opposed to on the top, because there are already decorations at the top of the page. So I wanted to just add it on a different spot on the page. So that's why it's going underneath the photo. Now this part is a little tedious and boring, so I'm just going to review what I did on this page. In order to make 6 photos, and they're pretty big photos, work on this page, I divided this page into 3 parts. Each part has identical size photos in them, except one spot is reserved for a focal point photo, and that's kind of what makes it different than your ordinary photo album. I'd also like to point out there is no writing on this page, simply because my coordinating page has a spot for the journaling. So if you want to do this project and add journaling, I would recommend you replace one of the photos with a journaling box. I'm going to add a little touch of green here, simply to add a little visual triangle of green on this page. And the only thing I have left to do is add some words to the File tab and the tag on the focal point photo. This is a stamp set by Stampin' Up! Called Tabs for Everything, and I'm stamping a few words, and I'm punching them out with my word window punch here, and I'm going to snip the ends, and it makes a nice little word for those spots on the focal point photo. And that's it. The only other thing I'd like to add is this is a page with an awful lot of photos, and it's very practical if you have a lot of photos. Often events, family reunions, birthday parties, travel photos. We take a lot of photos, and we can't have one photo per page, otherwise we would have a million albums. So often I accompany a beautiful page, a single or maybe a page with 2 photos, with a page with a lot of photos, like the one I'm showing you here today. So it's kind of a practical page. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Scrapbooking Quebec. Thanks for watching.